O Come, Emmanuel is both ancient and modern in a couple of ways. It's an ancient Latin hymn of the church, but it came into common usage later in the 19th century when it was translated into English. It was first sung in English by a group of people who wanted to draw into the longer history of the English church to find renewal and to make their worship new, to make their expressions of faith new. This was called the Oxford Movement. O Come, Emmanuel comes from a set of Latin chants, basically called O antiphons, and they invite the gathered people to engage with the history of the Christmas story through connecting with a series of prophecies of the church. So, O come, Emmanuel, ransom captive Israel. O come, thou dayspring. O come, rod of Jesse. These are allusions that are used by the Christian church to draw prophecy from Hebrew scripture. So, it's a long-standing tradition to use this hymn during Advent. It's the first hymn in our hymnal because Advent begins the Christian year. Something that's really interesting about this hymn is the use of O come at the beginning of each stanza. This is a really strong poetic device that invites people in. O come this, O come that, come among us and make something happen. It's used really powerfully in O Come, Emmanuel because it positions the singers as people waiting for something to happen. The idea is that you're calling on these different aspects of the person who would become Christ, the person who is understood as Christ in retrospect. It's saying, come and do something among us as part of this journey toward Christmas. This carol invites us into a world of images that is drawn from the Hebrew scriptures. At best, Christianity understands itself as positioned within a Jewish understanding of the world at a very particular time and place. I think it's really important for Christians singing a hymn like this to understand that heritage, to understand the specific worldview that it comes out of, and to sing it with that kind of understanding. Something that I like to remind congregations around singing a hymn like this is that it's from the perspective of a people who are being oppressed by an empire. We don't sing necessarily from that perspective now. You know, the church is a very powerful entity in the world now, and we need to understand that when we sing things like this, we're singing prophetic texts of a people who find themselves on the margins. There's a responsibility there that it's really important to understand. It can be very powerful and transformative, but it needs to not be taken lightly. One of the things that I find so powerful about this hymn, it has such arresting imagery, and it has imagery that really resonates with some of the scriptures that tell us the story of Advent. One of the really powerful texts during Advent is from the Gospel of John. Light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. That's a really powerful image, and it comes through in O Come, Emmanuel, singing, disperse the gloomy clouds of night, and death's dark shadows put to flight. It's epic imagery, it's big imagery, and this idea of a story that dispels darkness from the world is a really powerful one to sing.